This is IGN. By the power of Grayskull, etc. and so forth, He-Man is back on the big screen in the form of Nicholas Galitzine. This is your IGN review of Masters of the Universe by Clint Gage. We're in a wave of fan service that's more tsunami-ish than usual. But if there's an established fan base for something, by all means give them what they want. The real challenge is making it something anybody outside of that fan base will care about. But that's one area where Masters of the Universe actually succeeds admirably, because director Travis Knight and every other creative in front of and behind the camera seems to simultaneously love He-Man and realize how stupid the whole thing is. In all, the action and physicality throughout the movie is solid. The fight scenes are vibrant and interesting. They don't reinvent any wheels, but they are just different looking enough from the rest of action cinema's latest offerings to make things fun. A few sequences get overly CG and start to feel a little empty, but by and large, every time anybody kicks butt on screen, they really do it. Idris Elba in particular as Duncan, aka Man-at-Arms, is a character built around his fighting. It feeds into his entire arc. He's a guy who has strongly held ideas of what it means to be a big, strong man, ideas that are put to the test throughout the movie. What's great about Duncan as well is that he's really the one who gets to grow and change. Nicholas Galitzine as Prince Adam doesn't have nearly as far to travel and actually gets to be the catalyst for others to change more often than he's developing himself. Adam is more of an avatar for the themes of the film. That strength and manhood isn't about muscles as much as listening and empathy. Adam, in his time on Earth, found his way to a career in human resources, which is a remarkably on-the-nose alter ego for this version of He-Man, but it works more than it doesn't. He's portrayed as a kid who hasn't grown up at all, living in a room with walls still papered with drawings from his childhood. That's the world he's stuck in, which is a perfect metaphor for the audience movies like this are targeting. There's a grinning self-awareness to this movie that is its biggest strength. Take away the character names, pulled from a 50-year-old toy line, feel like a first draft. Ram Man and Fisto and Mechanic, Evil Lyn, whose name is just a phonetic way to pronounce Evelyn, they're all, quite frankly, pretty dumb. He-Man included. But instead of making the mistake of trying to have a guy named Ram Man earnestly talk to another guy named He-Man, Masters of the Universe takes none of it seriously. And they don't stop there, nor should they have. Travis Knight and company make the savvy choice to not take anything else seriously either. Alison Brie is hilarious as Evil Lyn, while Kristen Wiig voices an angry battle droid that's been downgraded to a maid. There are jokes made at the expense of both Fisto and Ram Man. Based on their names, you can imagine what low-hanging fruit those are, but the sheer joy and innocence with which they're delivered make them the only jokes that could possibly work in those moments. It all adds up to a film that's just this side of a proper spoof. There's an understanding of the source material at play with Masters of the Universe that's as obvious as the sword-wielding barbarian in a fur loincloth, and it's most obvious when they're talking about how silly Masters of the Universe is. But weirdly enough, the most unhinged and terrific part of the film is Jared Leto as Skeletor. He's a swaggering weirdo with near-limitless power that's only matched by his fear of losing it. There's a sass to him as well, an almost Deadpool-like meta layer, and if he had actual eyes and we could tell where he was looking, we might have caught him looking straight into the lens. Masters of the Universe is so much funnier than expected, and the fight scenes are choreographed and photographed in a way that gives the sequences just enough flair to make them stand out, even if they're not revolutionizing superhero-style fisticuffs on screen. While Nicholas Galitzine and Idris Elba provide the thematic structure to the film, Jared Leto's Skeletor gives a delightfully weird and cartoonish energy to every scene he's in. It's a film that appreciates the source material, silly names and all, and proves the best way to add to a 50-year-old franchise that's about toys as much as anything else is to not take it too seriously. Masters of the Universe's IGN score? 8 out of 10. Thanks for listening to IGN. My name is Tony Jackson, and for the latest updates on He-Man and Skeletor and the Masters of the Universe, visit us at IGN.com.
Spoken Layer.